Okay, we are walking into Sengakuji, and you can see by the three kanji. If you read kanji, it is written from right to left, Sengakuji. And this is a Buddhist temple in a somewhat nondescript part of Tokyo, near kind of a major center called Shinagawa. This is from the Soto sect of Zen Buddhism, and it was commissioned by the first Tokugawa shogun named Tokugawa Ieyasu, and he commissioned it in 1612. And since then, there have been Buddhist monks training here, so it's just a little bit over 400 years. And Tokugawa Ieyasu is considered one of the three unifiers in Japanese history. In the 1500s, it's referred to as Sengoku Jidai, the Warring States period, and it was about 100 years or more of civil war, and starting with Oda Nobunaga, and then Hideyoshi Toyotomi, and Tokugawa Ieyasu, they ended the wars and effectively unified the country and created a time of peace. Now, the interesting thing about Sengakuji is that it's kind of a nondescript temple. It was one of the three main temples that Tokugawa Ieyasu had commissioned, but really it's well known for the 47 Ronin who are interred here. So we'll tell you a little bit about the 47 Ronin. In Hyogo Prefecture, which is not far from Kobe, Osaka, Kyoto, that area, there is a city called Ako, and Lord Asano was the daimyo of Ako, and he was in Edo, which is modern-day Tokyo, and one of his roles was to entertain the imperial entourage that was coming up from Kyoto. And as he was doing that, he had to work with an official advisor named Kira. And so Kira was apparently a pretty condescending guy, considered Lord Asano a country bumpkin, and he was, quite indignant towards him. And so finally, one day, Lord Asano had enough, and he took out his sword in Edo Castle, and he slashed at Kira, and he cut him across the forehead. Didn't quite kill him, but the whole point is, drawing your sword in Edo Castle was illegal. So by that act alone, Asano was condemned to die through ritual suicide, which was cutting open his stomach, called harakiri, meaning belly cutting, or it's also called seppuku. And so what happened was, he didn't have a proper trial. He was, on that day, forced to commit seppuku in a garden, which for a person of his stature was, quite wrong and quite dishonorable. And so he had about 200 or 300 Ronin. We don't know the exact number at the moment, but not Ronin, but samurai that were under his leadership. So he was the master of these samurai. And something else that also happened was he had his property and castle and land and everything confiscated. So his family pretty much lost their name. And that means his samurai became Ronin. They were masterless samurai. And so, of course, these samurai, they asked to be, kind of pardoned and have the family name put back into place, even though Asano was forced to kill himself. And they were denied. And so for the next couple of years, this all kind of came down in 1701. And so in 1702, on December 14th, after a couple years of planning or so, they hatched their plan, and they came into Edo very secretly after a long time of pretending to be farmers and business people, keeping a low profile. And they stormed the mansion that Kira lived in, and none of the 47 Ronin died, but apparently almost a couple dozen of Kira's men died. And so they found Kira hiding in a closet. They cut his head off, and they took it here to Sengakuji, This is actually a new location. 30 years after Sengakuji was created, it was destroyed in a fire, and the new location was decided here when it was rebuilt. And so they brought the head of Kira here to, honor their fallen master. And you can see here, these are the grave markers of those 47 Ronin, masterless samurai, those loyal to Lord Asano, where they're interred. Now, there is an historical debate of really what the motives for this revenge, or this, vendetta and revenge killing was all about. And anyhow, some people will argue that it's not really about the Bushido, the way of the warrior, the samurai code. It was partly revenge because Kira's actions led them to be dishonored samurai, which would be, Ronin or Masterless. And some also say that they wanted to prove to others that, hey, we really are brave warriors and we're not going to stand for this. And so there's a bit of an historical debate. There's a little bit more to it. In the YouTube video description, I'm going to write a little bit more, and I'll put a couple of sources down. Unfortunately, they're non-Japanese sources because I'm being kind of lazy. But essentially, that's the story of the 47 Ronin, and it is a true story, but of course, with history, we can never guess all of the real facts. Now we're going to go and get some incense, which costs 100 yen for a bundle, and pay our respects. And we'll give you just a little bit of an idea of this part of Tokyo that we're at. Of course, you could have scrolled around for the 360 if you wanted to, but we're going to end it right there. 7 minutes is long enough.